Hello. Alright, so I checked all of the polls a little bit before starting this video just to make sure, but Krobus did in fact win for my next video game fan art piece, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I was looking over the different images of him from the game, because he's basically just a little blobby shadowy guy, which actually makes this more easy to sculpt but more difficult to make look distinct. So we're going to give him a giant thing of void mayonnaise since that's his favorite gift in the game. And I'm thinking about giving him a void chicken. I may not do that. I might just make him and then have the jar of void mayonnaise with him. We'll see. And one of the biggest things I was struggling with is trying to figure out if he has hands or not. Because the little sprite, it looks like he doesn't have hands, but then when you look at the little character portrait that's next to his speeches, he does have hands in a couple of those. They look like little mittens with like thumbs. So looks like he has hands, although he must keep them next to his side or they must come out of his body, because I was looking through all the dialogue as well, and he mentions people having bones and it implies that he does not. So he really is just an amorphous little shadow guy. So I'm assuming that's why you can't really tell all the time. But yes, we are going to give him little hands and feet. And he's very upside down egg shaped in the sprite. So I picked out, we're either going to use these or we're going to use these clear ones. I'm going probably with the clear ones, but we'll see. We're going to go with one of those for the eyeballs. And I was really struggling with how we're going to do the void mayonnaise, because obviously I can fill this with resin and I have black powder and color, so I can make it black, but I need to have the red dots in it. So I'm going to make a bunch of tiny little red balls and glue them on the inside of the jar, and then we'll fill the rest of it with resin. And I will use, I'll see how much I have, but I will try to use a UV resin, because I do plan on trying to complete this sculpture entirely today, including the painting, just because I don't want to spend a 20-minute video next week painting him a solid color, because he doesn't have any color variation. He's literally just black, and he occasionally gets like little blush on his cheeks, and that's it. So that's not, I can't really spend an entire video on that. So we're going to try to do this all tonight, which means we will have to take a bit of a 20 to 30 minute break in the middle as I have to bake him in the oven. But I will try to time the other aspects of the sculpture with that a little bit. Now, if I had red beads, it would be easier, because then I could work on this separately. I did think about using red marbles, but my concern is they're slightly transparent, the ones that I have, and then they'll just look like dark blobs, you know. So, unless I come up with something better, we're going to have to basically hand make little round beads, paint them red, glue them on the inside of the jar, and then fill it with solid black resin to make him a little jar of void mayonnaise. Now, when I played Stardew Valley, I was not aware that Krobus was actually a roommate option, because one of my pet peeves is that the games always make you romance people, and I'm not really into that. And if I had known that there was a genuine roommate option that was the cool little shadow guy, I would have been so happy. And I didn't know that when I played, because I played quite a bit. And I married Sebastian, I believe, in the game. Mostly because I wanted his gaming stuff. And yeah, I was so bummed when I realized I could have had Krobus, and I was like, oh dang it, I could have had Krobus as a roommate. That would have been so cute. So I looked through a bunch of the dialogue with him, just because I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any important Krobus lore for the sculpture. But yeah, I was so tempted. I was like, maybe I should play it again and then try to see if I can get Krobus instead of Sebastian. Which should, I mean, Sebastian's great, but, you know, that is his name, right? The emo kid. I think, yeah, his name is Sebastian. But, but yeah, I was so sad when I hadn't realized that Krobus was an option. I think there's a new update coming, actually. Another one. So, and I've missed a few, so I should probably go back and see if I can upload my save and play again. But I've got too many other games I've been playing, but Stardew Valley is very cool. And I do think it was funny. I was not expecting everyone to be so fond of Krobus. Because initially it was kind of split between the Fortnite Dinosaur the Colombo and Krobus when I posted the polls and stuff. And then Krobus kept winning. I think he did end up winning on every single platform, at least as of today. I know some people will probably still comment. But yeah, I was genuinely not expecting that. I was actually expecting the Enderman to win just because Minecraft is so popular. I love the Enderman, but I am kind of glad because I've done so many Minecraft sculptures already, and by so many I mean 2. I know that's not that many, but I've done a lot of Minecraft fan art, so this gives me another game that I can do that I haven't done yet. When we get to doing the little balls for this, I will start the oven downstairs, just so that things are prepared and ready, so we don't have to wait for the oven to heat up, because I will have to take, you know, a 20-minute to 30-minute break to bake this little guy. So it'll be even longer if I have to wait for the oven to preheat. But yes, if I go back and play Stardew Valley again, I'm probably going to have to spend time with Krobus, because that would make me so happy. And I do appreciate the game maker for adding that as an option, because I get so annoyed with some games that you can only find out characters' backstories if you romance them. And I'm like, maybe I just wanted to be their friend. Maybe I have that issue with Baldur's Gate, because it's like, I want to interact with the characters, but like everybody's throwing themselves at me. Why are they doing this? This is weird. So I don't mind in like slice of life games like Stardew Valley so much, but having a non-romance option is kind of cool. It's kind of nice. I don't see that too often. The only thing is I don't know, I don't think you can adopt kids if you have Krobus though. And I do really like having the little toddlers running around. It's so cute. I think I just gave my child a blobfish mask. And then I gave the other one a fedora. And it looked like I had a mini goblin and a mini gangster running around, which was hilarious. But I will say, Sebastian was incredibly easy to keep happy because I think he liked coffee. I think he liked coffee. But he would give me coffee every morning, so I would literally take the coffee and then give it back to him, and then he'd be happy. It was so easy. He never got mad at me. It was so nice. But Krobus was pretty easy to befriend as soon as you had the void chickens, because you could just give him the void eggs and then he was happy. Alright. Now the trick with this is we're going to have to make it very smooth, because if we don't, there's no details on him. He is just a smooth little shadow blob. And that's part of what makes this, weirdly enough, more challenging, although it is simplistic. Let's see if we can smooth this out a bit more. Let's see. I should have probably tamped down or pressed down the aluminum foil a little bit more thoroughly so that I'm not dealing, with this lumpy texture that we're getting right now. We'll get it smoothed out, but lessons learned, things that I should have done that I never do, and then I get mad at myself for not doing it. Alright. Right now, he looks like a potato. Krobus does kind of look like a potato. Looks like a little happy void potato. Alright. Smooth him out a bit. You're still too lumpy. Now with him not having a whole lot of shading, it won't look quite as bad, but I still need, there's still too many divots and little mistakes here that we gotta fill in. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I should give him the void chicken. I wonder if I could just make a little chick. That'd be cute. Little void chick. Little baby void chicken. Wait, do they have... It's been so long since I've played Stardew. Let me see... Do they have chick versions? I don't remember. Or do they just grow up to immediately? They do have chick versions. Okay. Very cute. So we might try to do a little tiny chick. Yeah, we might do a little chick instead of a full chicken. I think that'd be cute. And then it won't take as much of my clay. Because I do need to start conserving a little bit more because this stuff is expensive. And I never sell very much during the winter time, so I can't justify buying tons of art supplies. I mean, I don't sell the sculptures, which is probably part of the problem. Obviously I can't sell this one because it's copyright art stuff, but I don't make a lot of money during the winter. So, yeah. I can't justify buying tons of more art supplies until I make some more money. I do have a new project coming up that I am still videoing. I'm not done with it yet, but we'll hopefully have it done in a few days and I'll post a video of it soon. The video editing takes a while, so yeah. Okay. Okay. That's roughly his body shape. It's a little... There we go. The top of his head's still wonky, but that's fine because we're going to have to add his little curly-Q antenna thingy. Alright. It looks really large on the sprite and quite small on the portrait, the character portrait. Let's see if we can kind of do it in between. I guess I should go ahead and do his eyes. Because the eyes need to go right about here and here. Alright. The question is, are we doing the white eyes or the transparent? I kind of feel like the transparent are a better idea. And I may give him a little bit of eyelids here. Okay, and then let's start doing his little curly Q. I am going to give him little happy cheeks. Make him look cute. Because, I mean, he would be happy if he has a whole jar of void mayonnaise. He would be very happy. Oh, wait, no, it curls to the left. It curls to the left. Okay. Gotta... Yes. All right. Let's feather these out. Well, not feather. Flatten these out a tad. And we're gonna make this teeny tiny so we can curl it a bit. There we go. Let's smooth out the upper part of his head. All right, so we're getting there with our little guy. So I'm gonna see if I can give him kind of like, not exactly like eyelids, but like eyebrows. Just a little bit of a little bit of extra shape here, because the shape will make a big difference in his expression. I apologize, my cat's crying at the door again. I have to not let her in, because if I keep letting her in every time she cries, she's just going to do it all the time. Because she'll learn that that's all she has to do to get what she wants. I shouldn't have let her in last time. That's my own fault. She just sounded so cute. Get in there. Alright. Let's see. Kitty cat, you're fine. There we go. So he's got, his eyes are slightly upward. It's not really, it's more like brows, actually, rather than eyelids. But that gives him a little bit more of an expression. I'm gonna give him a little polka dot spot here, just as kind of a nose, but not quite a nose. Kitty, you're fine. And then, let's see. Alright. And we need to give him cheeks. Okay, no, gotta make his mouth up higher. Okay. It's a little too much, a little less. Let's close the mouth up there. I don't know quite where I want the mouth yet. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Since he doesn't have a whole lot of defining features, I think it's very important that I get this part right. Else he just will look very much like a blob and not like the cute little guy that he is. Sometimes really nondescript characters and shapeless characters are harder just because they don't have defining features. So if you make any mistakes or there's any sort of issue, it's incredibly noticeable. I have this issue every time I try to do like digital art of like chibi stuff, because the lines are so simple. It's like if you make a mistake, it's very noticeable. Whereas if there's a ton of details and shading, you can kind of get away with things being less than perfect. The more details they are, it kind of distracts you from smaller, minor issues. But the more simple something is, the more glaring your mistakes are going to be. Alright. And you can probably tell I think Krobus is very cute, and I am making him exceptionally cutesy. That's kind of my thing, so. Plus, I just really wanted him to look happy with his void mayonnaise. Because he is happy when you give it to him. Okay, now let's see if we can make a convincing mouth shape here. Kitty cat, you're fine. Alright. Let me look at him real quick here on the, on my phone. Yes, he's got kind of a tiny little mouth. It's usually jagged. Give him little dimples. Alright. Alright, so this is what we have so far for little Mr. Krobus. Okay. So I want him to be sitting here with his void mayonnaise between his legs and holding it. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to tone the nose down just a little because he technically doesn't have it. I just kind of wanted him to. There we go. That way it's milder. There we go. He's a happy little guy. Alright, so his little feet look like little, almost cartoonish little feet. So they're just going to be little sticks with round pieces on them, and then we stick his jar of void mayonnaise between his legs. Alright. And he'll be very happy about it. Oh, we could stick a little void chick on top of the jar of mayonnaise. That'd be cute. Now, I'm not going to use this. I'm probably going to make a movable cap because the void mayonnaise jars, I believe, have the red caps on them in the game. So we want to imitate that. Okay. Kitty cat, you're fine. She just keeps crying at the door. She sounds so sad, but I know she's fine. She just hears me talking and she wants to be in here. I probably should have turned their little toys on before I came up here. That would have been smart. I'll do that when I go down to bake our little Krobus guy. Okay. Ugh. Alright. Now we gotta do his little feet. This is what we got so far. Krobus. His feet look a little bigger, so we're just gonna do little round things. And his hands look kind of like mittens, so. Then we just gotta do the lid for the void mayonnaise, the little chick that goes on top. Yeah, because the sprite, it really looks like he doesn't have hands, but the portrait shows hands on certain expressions. So clearly he does have actual hands. I mean, I figured he kind of did, else how the heck is he eating his void mayonnaise and selling wares? I mean, I guess he doesn't have to have hands because he has feet, but I don't know. I feel like it would make things more confusing. Here we go. I mean, technically, yeah, there's plenty of people who don't have hands. But no, he looks like... I kind of wonder if he's, like, meant to be amorphous, so, like, his body changes all the time. And maybe that's why, or if the sprite is just so tiny that you just can't see the hands. It could also just be that. Here's your feet. Give him little feet. Ah, Krobus! Don't fall over. It's okay. We're gonna attach him to the jar. Eventually. Not initially, but eventually we're gonna... Well, let me make this easier to attach by flaring the edges out a bit. Okay. My cat sounds like she's gargling. She has the funniest little meow. Ollie, you're fine. No, you're fine. Krobus, don't fall. Stay with me, buddy. Alright. Okay. I should probably have attached the feet first. That would have made this easier to do. But I was dumb and I didn't do that. Sometimes it doesn't matter, but when the legs are kind of skinny, it helps to attach the feet to the legs and then the legs to the body. Alright. He's got feet now. Got little feet. Alright. Krobus sitting with his jar of void mayonnaise. We gotta get our void mayonnaise lid on here. He's very happy about it. As he would be. Okay. Now, whatever we do with this lid, it has to be removable. Else we're going to run into problems because we do have to fill up the jar. Let's see. Okay. Alright. Now I think we should probably... We could do a, like, strip all the way around so it makes it more like a lid. Sit still, Krobus. There we go. Alright. It's one of the easiest ways to tell if I like my sculptures is I start talking to them like they're people. I'm not sure if that's a crazy thing or what, but it probably is. I should probably not do that. I'm usually more conscious of it, but because nobody's actually watching right now, I don't think. I act a little crazier and then I watch the video later and I'm like, I am stupid. Yeah, I think that's a common thing though when you're working on something. Even construction workers and stuff, I've seen this, like you put a board down, it wants to fall over and you go, no, stay there. As if talking to it's going to make it listen. I tell things all the time to not move and then they fall down. Feels like that might be a weird psychology thing. Talking to inanimate objects like they're people. Because I think I've seen almost everybody do it. Well, maybe not everybody. I've seen a lot of people do it. Ah! Krobus, no! Okay, we're going to use our razor blade here to make some nice even cuts. Okay. Almost. Not quite. There we go. Now we just need to blend this together, but it should still lift off pretty easily. All right. Just gotta... Can't press down too hard because I don't want it to form to the bottle too much. Because then I'll have a nightmare trying to pop it off once it's hardened. Okay, now we just gotta blend this top edge in a little bit. Okay. There we go. So now we have our little void mayonnaise lid. Make sure it's on there pretty lightly so that we can bake it. Krobus is getting his giant thing of void mayonnaise. Alright, so we're going to do Krobus's arms real quick here. And then I'm going to run downstairs and start preheating the oven. And then we'll come back up here and do a couple little spheres that we can glue on the edges of the jar for the void mayonnaise texture. And then I should... After that, we should be able to do the little void check, and then the oven should be ready by then. I mean, that might be a little overkill. Maybe not. Ollie, you're fine, kitty cat. You're... Okay. We're gonna cut this in half. We're gonna flatten down one end. Flatten one end. Ollie, stop trying to open the door. You're fine. Ollie, you're fine, baby. You're fine. Oh my goodness. Now his arms need to be skinnier and smaller. Okay. Now we gotta add the thumbs real quick. He has little thumbs. Are my cats trying to break in? You are fine, kitty cat. You don't need to be in here. I should probably stop responding to her because that's just going to encourage her to do this even more. She knows she got her way once and now she'll never leave me alone. What have I done? Ollie, you are okay. You do not need to be in here. Baby, you are fine. Ollie, shush. No. You're fine. Girlie, you're okay. Hush. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put his little hand here. Like so. Okay. Now it should be okay to attach the hands to the jar lid. Because the jar should still be able to lift out from the underneath. Okay. Attach his little arm. And yes, Krobus does have hands. Okay. Or I could just tuck this hand to himself, like to his tummy. Yeah, I think I'll do that. We'll do that. Okay. So this is what we have so far for our little buddy. Gonna have a whole jar of void mayonnaise. He's very happy about it. Alright. So I'm going to run downstairs really quick. I will be right back. I'm going to start prepping the oven for this, and then we'll come back. We're going to do some little round beads that I'm going to glue to the inside of this jar before I fill it with resin. And then after that, I think after that, he should be, well, we're going to do the little void chick to stick on top of this, and after that, he should be ready for baking. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Alright. Alright, so we're going to do some quick little round dots. They don't have to be too defined. I just need a bunch of them. Because I'm going to have to attach them to the... Now, the only thing is if I glue them to the inside of the jar... Well, if I glue them to the inside of the jar, they're kind of gonna not quite look... Because the super glue does tend to have a little bit of a hazy look. So I wonder... I almost wonder if I shouldn't just... do something like this, which is a little odd, but it'll work. This is a little crazy, but I think it's actually going to work pretty well. This way they'll be held against the edge of the jar without without requiring me to glue them, which will ruin. Yeah. Which will ruin the, I lost my train of thought. It'll ruin the appearance on the outside, is what I meant to say. Let's see, if Krobus is fairly human-sized, then the chick should be pretty tiny. Do I have any more toothpicks? Get myself some more toothpicks here. Looks like I'm making a million dumbbells. I know. Because if I stack them like this, then you'll get the, you get a similar effect. Okay. And if not, I can always pop them off and go back to the method where I tried to glue them or attach them, I guess, with clear resin or something. It's just, it tends to pop off the inside of a jar, so it's not going to stick. Ollie, you are fine, kitty cat. Shh, you're okay. Hush. Alright, so if this doesn't work, then we'll just be popping these off and attaching them in the jar. But for now, we're going to try this, see how it goes. Because we just basically need some red dots in amongst the dark black mayo. And I may not have the jar completely full either. I might leave it. Okay, so I think that's sufficient for now. Let's pop this lid back on. Okay. I want to attach his hand to it. All right, now let's look at making a little chick. Here. Mm-hmm. All right. And I think the void chicks have that little red dot on top of their heads. Just like the adults do. Kinda. They do. Okay. We need to give the chick a little beak. Okay. Whoop. There goes the chick. Alright. Let's do his little wings. Little chicky wings. And because he's a boy chicken, he's got that little dot on top of his head. All the little chickens, boy chickens have. Okay. Okay, and then we need to do his little toes sticking out. I guess I could do the eyeballs. I probably should do the eyeballs. Eyeballs are too big. There we go, that's a little better. Alright, there you go. Little Chicky has eyeballs now. And then we'll do the little toes. Because he's sitting down on this. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna do this and then change it so it looks like feet. Like so. Yeah, because it basically has the same effect. Okay. He's got a little void chick on top of his jar of void mayonnaise. These are going to be the little red dots on the inside of the jar that we're going to fill with resin. I think I will make one more. Just for caution's sake here. Just make sure we have enough. Sorry. Sorry. Alright. We're gonna... Alright. Different sizes. We should be able to achieve a little bit of that look. Try to make the chick a little bit fuzzy. Okay. Here we go. Alright. Got our little baby void chick. Okay, so this is what we have so far for Mr. Krobus. Now I'm going to have to take him downstairs and start baking him, so I'm going to put the BRB screen up, and then I'm going to make a little note. We'll be back in roughly 30 minutes, so we're looking at about 9:10. Okay. Here we go. Good, you can still hear me. So we're going to put this up on the screen. Oh, I should probably... Okay, cool. I'm gonna mute myself here, and then I'll start getting all the painting supplies ready as well. There we go. Audio's back. I am back. As you can tell, his arm came off, but that's fine. We're just gonna glue that back on real quick. He's still very warm from the oven. All right. Let's go ahead and fix his arm. It fell off while I was trying to carry him up here and set him down. But that's on me because I didn't attach it terribly well, so it's all good. Thankfully, it's very easy to repair stuff like that. Just hold it still for a little bit. Alright, so we can go ahead and start doing this. I brought up the resin that I need. There we go. So I gotta let Krobus sit over here so his arm will fully attach. Okay. And then we're going to start painting the red on these little spheres that go inside the void mayonnaise. Hopefully I don't have to go get more red. I'm running a little low. I should have looked into that when I went downstairs. But at least this doesn't have to be too detailed because it will be surrounded by black resin. Okay. Yeah, and I think in the long run this will look better than if I had, you know, attempted to glue it, because every time I glue stuff to glass with super glue inevitably leaves a little bit of a hazy whitish film. It's pretty decent on most things, but on clear things sometimes it leaves that film and you can see it. So it may not have looked bad, but I don't think it would look quite right. So hopefully this will look right. I brought the, I have a shimmery black powder, and I brought that. It's a mica powder for the resin. Hopefully that will look good. Biggest thing is we just need it to be dark enough that it obscures everything inside. All right. Like I said, I only really need to paint the edges here. Everything else should be not visible. If I need to, I may have to go grab, I do have alcohol inks as well. So I may have to go grab the black alcohol ink just to further darken the color, but I don't think I'll need it. Usually the mica powders are pretty dark in their own right. More so than just the dyes. The dyes are usually slightly translucent. So. Okay. So I'm guessing I should probably paint the inside of his mouth a white or a silverish color. And then I'll go over the rest of him with the dark black because he doesn't really have much coloration to him. Alright. Alright, that's all for that for now. Oh, I need to pull up the void chicken again. Let me pull up my reference again. Because I think the void chicken... Let's see. Yeah, the beak is orange, the feet are orange. Okay. And then it has the little red dots right there and there. Okay, so let's go ahead. Well, I guess I could go ahead and paint the lid red. I could do that. Well, since I have the red out here, I'll just go ahead and do that. And make sure I hold the arm so that we don't break it off again. Here, let me put the lid on here. That way it's supported. And it's okay if we get a little red on Krobus because it'll be easy to cover with the black. All right. Now we're going to have to remove this from it. I'm sorry, I always pull this away from the thing. I literally got this silicone mat with the bear in the center just to keep myself from pulling things out of view of the camera, because I know if it's over the bear it's visible. But I still, without fail, every time I go to edit these videos, I'll go back through and be like, dang it, I pulled it out of focus again. Sometimes I have to, but I do it way too much. I'm trying to get better about that. Okay. Gotta view it from every angle. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. And then I'll use one of my tinier brushes when I do the black around the lid here, just so that we don't lose any of our red coloration too much. That is the one advantage to making your sculpture in pieces, is that you can paint the pieces separately, and you don't have this issue where you're trying to paint red here and then I'll have to go back and do the black without touching the red. Okay. Oh, this paint is going to dry very quickly because the statue is still warm. It's like, it feels almost like a little hand warmer right now. Because it's firm, it's not flexible anymore. When you pull it out of the oven, initially, it's still flexible. That's not a good paintbrush, I don't want that one. But it's still a little bit flexy. Okay, first, I forgot what I was doing. First, we're going to paint the inside of the mouth. I think I'm going to go for a silvery color, a very faint silvery color. And then maybe touch it up with a white. Oh, where is... That's not white. This is the white. Because we won't be able to quite achieve the, we won't be able to achieve the same effect that we have with the eyes, but we can get a little bit of it. A little bit. Kind of like that. Alright. Let's go ahead and start doing the black. There we go. Very carefully. Got a tiny dot or two there that we'll have to touch up. And don't worry if we get the eyes covered. I say this every time I do videos, but we can easily get paint off these glass marbles that I used. If you take a little wet brush, it comes right off. So I always paint very thoroughly around the eyes and then I clean them off. So. Alright, do that. Now, normally when I do my other sculptures, I'll do the base color first, just because it's incredibly boring to watch. But because Krobus is nothing but the base color, you get to watch me paint the entire thing very carefully. I usually think the detail painting is more interesting. I think when I was earlier, like, just recording videos, I was doing all of it on camera, and then I was like, this is really boring, because usually I'll do like a black, brown, or a gray base coat, and then I'll do the detail painting on top. And it takes so long sometimes for the base coat to dry that you end up just watching me wait for paint to dry, which is the most boring thing in the world. So, but this is a rare occasion where we are going to do that part on video. Largely, too, because he was just baked and he's still warm, the paint dries a lot faster. I have cheated in the past and actually used a heat gun to make the paint dry faster so that I could keep painting. But it's probably not a good idea. I don't know if it affects anything. But it does satisfy my impatience. I think the white might be too much. We might have to tone it down with the silver and a little bit of gray again for the mouth, you know. We'll see. We'll see when I'm done how I feel with it, but alright. Now these red little balls that I've done for the void mayonnaise are probably dry now. So I think, let's get a little more of his tummy here. I think we'll take a break from this for a second and we're going to start the, start the process of making the void mayonnaise. Because it'll need some time to cure properly. So I have my little UV flashlight. Alright, so I'm trying to see. That's probably not the best one to start with. Oops. Here, I'll put a dot of glue on this one, put it back together. Okay, we're going to fix this again. So we want the little one on the bottom because we can roll it against the side here. That one can stay there. This one is also small. Could do something like that. This, I don't want them to all be lined up the same way. Okay. And then okay. It does not look perfect, but we're only going to fill it part the way. So we're going to put this over here. Grab some of our resin here. Now, normally I would use the 2-part instead of the UV, but because I wanted to do this all today, we are using my UV resin, which I do kind of hate to use, but it's fine. We'll mix some of this powder in here. Okay. Get this hair out. It doesn't need to be here. And this one random hardened piece of resin also does not need to be here. Okay. Let's see how far this gets us. Oh, dang it. I don't want it on the outside of the jar. Okay. All right, so we need some more. You can't see them as much as I would like, so I'm a little bummed by that. I probably should have made the clay pieces more like, what's the phrase I'm thinking of? Yeah, you can definitely see the red dots, but not as clearly as I should like. So that's a little disappointing, but it still works. All right. I don't know if you can see the red dots on the camera though, because they are pretty faint. So I should have made them a little bit more, what's the word? A little bit more formed to the outside of the glass so that more of them would be making surface like contact with the glass, because then the resin would not fill it quite as much. Oh, you don't want that. Yeah, so I think we'll leave it like this. You can see the red dots, but yeah, definitely not as much as I was wanting. And then if I leave it slightly like that, you can see them from the top at least. So I think I think it'll still work. Not quite as effective as my original plan. I'm gonna have to change my gloves here. But you can see it at the top and on the sides. You can get very faint red dots. Not as much as I wanted. I should have been a little more careful with that, but all right. So now that that is a thing, we're going to stick it over here with the light. Can I balance it on the light? Okay, and let it cure. I'm going to go back to painting Krobus. At least the void mayonnaise is a little sparkly. I do like that I used my sparkly mica powder. I guess the other thing I could have done is I could have tried to attach each of them to the edge with like clear resin, but I don't think it would have stuck very well. That's why I didn't want to do it that way. I think I just should have shaped the little balls that I was doing to the inside of the glass better, and then you would have been able to see them a little better. But alas, it'll work. It suffices. Okay. I do kind of wonder how the void mayonnaise can have red dots in it. Because the void eggs are dotted black with red dots. But that's the shell, not the egg itself. Then you could, conversely, you could be like, oh, well, maybe the interior of the egg is also spotted. But then to make mayonnaise, you're grinding that up with, I believe, some sort of acidic thing like lemon juice or something. Oil and egg. And if you grind things all up, they don't maintain their color patterns. So wouldn't it just be a grayish mess? I mean, that's why mayonnaise is usually a slightly orangey, off-white. Okay. Let's pick him up like this. on this part of the leg there. Okay. Alright, so we can go ahead and start painting our little chicken black as well. The little tuft on his head will be red. But the rest of him is black, other than his little feet are obviously orange, and so is his beak. And then I'm going to see what I can do with the mouth, because I don't like the bright white. But I don't want to make it too dark, because his mouth and everything on the little profile image that he has is very much bright white. Okay, so there's a black dot there I'll need to fix when I get the red back out. Okay. And then we want to give him slightly pink cheeks, just a little bit, so that he looks super happy. Okay. There we go. Alright, I'm going to put this away for now. Now that I've gotten black paint all over my hands. You want the paint to dry faster, you can just rub your hands together real fast. Okay. Now I'm going to see if I can prop this up like that. Trying to cure our resin over here. It's harder because of the mica powder. Kind of inhibits the curing of the UV resin because the UV light can't penetrate through it, but we kind of had to do that. So, oh, I can clean his eyes up. I can go ahead and clean his eyes up while I'm thinking about it. There we go. Now he's got his shiny eyes again. Okay. So we're going to take our tiny little detail brush here. And where did my orange paint? Okay, I have some orange here. No, I don't want to use that orange. I want to use this off yellow orange. Get a different paintbrush. There we go. Paint the beak very carefully. Oh, this paint's starting to get gummy and disgusting. It's not going to work very well. The only thing is acrylic paints do have a tendency to go bad. Makes them hard to work with. Okay, I'm gonna have to get my other orange. It's right there. Oh, wow. Okay, this is the opposite. This is all liquidy. Interesting. If I mix the two together, they might work. Imagine that. Oop, I got a little on his cheek. Touch that. Gotta paint each of his little toes. Pretend I didn't just spill paint all over my work area. And it looks like I need to touch up the red between the toes as well. I don't know if you... Nah, you can't see that on the camera, but it needs to be fixed. Okay. Those little toes are painted. Okay. We're gonna close this paint. Put it somewhere else. Okay. Now we can get our red back out. See if we can touch up the red a little bit. And I may dry brush some light gray just to give a little shading. Because I think the solid black is just not that great. But I can't do too much, and my cat's yelling at the door again. Can't do too much because then it won't look right. Okay, and now the little thing on top of his head. It almost looks like a coxcomb, but it's not. It's just like a little tuft because the babies don't have those. They're too little. I may have to do a second coat on this. That's fine. Oh, and we need to touch up the mistake spots here. I need to refill all of my paint supplies. Okay. Okay, we're gonna leave this shining. I'm leaving this light here to cure this in different angles. It is slowly working. All right. He's coming along pretty nicely. You can see what we have so far. All right, where's my silver? I think I put it away. No, I put it over here. I'm gonna try to put a little bit of silver into the mouth to kind of tone, not with this brush. Not with that brush. With a different brush that doesn't have paint on it. To tone down the whiteness a little bit. So I think the white's a little too much. There we go. That's a little better. I don't think you can see the difference on the camera very much, but it does show up a little different for me. Now, let's see if I do a very light. I don't like the shimmery. Let's do this. We may not be able to do the cheeks with the color because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to look correct. Yeah, because I think it's going to look dumb. Hold on. Let's try it with the red. I can do this and then I'll go back over it with the black and it'll probably mostly get rid of it, but I think maybe it'll leave a little color. If not, I do have the powder type pigments that I can try to put a little bit on there. But yeah, this is way too dark. Looks kind of dumb. Don't like it. Let me see if we go over it with the black now. We can tone it down a little. All right. Okay. Now we need to do the red on the top of the chicken again because it's still not quite visible. The other issue I have is when I'm doing a solid black little thing like this chick, you know, how do I achieve the shading on the eyes? Because I can't really, because it's all solid black. So I usually just do a little white dot. When I'm doing more cutesy figurines, that's what I usually do. So we're going to try that and see how that looks. Just a single little white dot on the eyes. Like so. And I could try to outline it a little bit. I kind of want to give a little bit of some coloring here to the chick's wings, so we're going to go with a little white on the edges of them. Just so that there's some color, because if not, everything's going to be solid black. Plus, most chicks do have some variation in color. In real life, at least. Give them some little... There we go. Add some more color to his little chick that he has. Okay. I really want to add coloration to his cheeks. I really want to do that, but I have to... Let's see, if I do a little white and then I go back with a little bit of the pink, I might be able to get away with this. This might be the way to do it. Or it might be too much again. Oh no. Not sure I like that. It's really hard to make a really dark character look like they're blushing in any way that looks normal. I think I'm going to go over this with the black again. Because I don't think it looks quite right. Yeah, it's too much. Okay, let's try again. I'll just go over lightly with the black again like that, so that he still has some slightly lighter colors on his cheeks, but I don't think we're going to be able to achieve the blushing look accurately. Oh, that's right, the void chicken has the little red dots on its cheeks. I gotta do that. I almost forgot about that. Okay. Okay, teeny tiny little brush. Let's see where they are. Yep, so it's got a little red dot right below both of its eyes. I need to paint this again too because it's still not as bright red as I want. Black is a very hard color to paint on top of. Doing it like this does give you a great deal of control with like layering colors, but it is difficult to get a bright color on top of black. There we go. He's got little red dots on his cheeks now. There we go. I have the tiniest little bit of coloration on his cheeks now. Okay. So this is pretty hardened now. There are red dots on the sides, but they're very faint. You can see them on top. Put that in there. Press the lid down. Oops. Came right off. Well, I can take advantage of this moment to paint the other side of his hand and his tummy there before we reattach his little jar to him. Okay. And then, see, that's where the hand attached. I'm not gonna, probably not gonna coat or cover that. Let's see, because the hand attaches right there. Okay, we'll let him dry for a second here. Let me try something. So I have these little like chalk pigments. And they can sometimes achieve a slightly more hazy look. There we go. That looks better. I keep forgetting I have these pastel chalks because I never use them. I guess I should add the red while I'm here. Just a little bit. Not too much because I don't want to inhibit the glue attaching. Okay. Get it thoroughly on there. All right. Now we just need to let his hands dry a little bit more. We got our void mayonnaise lid on there. So you can see the red dots at the top. You can see them at the sides a little bit, but not as much as I really wanted. It's not too bad. You can see our little, cheeky. Ugh. Clear his eyes up a little bit more while we're waiting. Oh no, not with that. Not with that. I need to get more alcohol wipes because they're great for stuff like this. There we are. Okay, so now we're going to put the glue here, and the glue here, and some glue here. There. We're going to reattach. Krobus to his void mayonnaise. Let's see if we can hold this together for a few minutes. I'm pretty happy with him. He was somewhat of a challenge, like I said, because of his design being so simple, but I think I did okay. I think I did okay. All right. So there we go. We have our little Krobus buddy with his little void chick, his void mayonnaise that he loves. See the little chick, okay? And there you go. That is Krobus. I'm pretty happy with him. He's not quite as nice as I'd wanted, but I think he's pretty cute still. Like I said, I'm just really bummed about the way the void mayonnaise worked. Because it kind of worked, but it kind of not as much as I wanted. So, anyway, we are finished with our little sculpture of Krobus. If you watched this video, I do greatly appreciate it. I think it said I actually had viewers like an hour ago or something. So if you were here, even if you're lurking, I'm a lurker myself, so I understand. I appreciate it very much. If you like this video, feel free to comment and let me know what else you'd like to see me do. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely night.